Hello guys, today I'd like to speak about this Canon 85mm f1.2 lens Mark II version, which is a very expensive lens and very massive and heavy. It's probably 980 grams or something. It's a great portrait lens, but unfortunately for me it's not so amazing because it has some issues with the focusing, and it's not just this particular lens. I was speaking about it in my previous video. I had in my hand two of like a different lenses on the same kind, and they had exactly the same issue, and I was using them on different cameras, so it's not like a camera issue or this lens issue, it's just the nature of the lens. So what is happening here, it's a 1.2, as you can see here, it's like a massive element, and also in the front, and the lens is very sharp at 1.2, and you can see some sample photo right now. This is the picture taken at 1.2. There is also a big problem with the chromatic aberration, but that can be somehow corrected in Photoshop, not always, but it can be. Depends on how severe it is. And you know, as I said before, I'm a professional photographer. I'm doing doing photography for film crew, and I'm also doing some weddings and portrait photography. I'm doing photography for 14 years so far, and I never had an issue with the lenses, like they were not focusing right. I used to have a 135 Canon f2L, and as you see here, this amazing 300mm 2.8 L image stabilized. That's a fantastic lens, is focusing well, absolutely great. Here you can see Sigma 85mm 1.4. that lens is focusing really well as well. Of course it's new lens, it's from 2016 2017, so makes sense that I can't really compare it to the lens from 10 years ago, but it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that lens is focusing much better. I was able to focus with this lens on like a flying bird, so you know, and it was very sharp. The issues I have with this lens, I'll speak about the main one, why I'm selling it, and then I'll speak about some other issues I used to have with this lens. I won't be speaking about the lens in like a really depth review or something, because depth is not depth. Depth, you know what I want to say. Cool. Like a really deep review. Yeah, no, I'm not going to. So my main problem with this lens is the focus accuracy. This lens somehow is not focusing right when I'm taking pictures for customers. Usually I'm in a fast-paced environment and I don't have a time to put a lens on a tripod and do a live view. I mean, that would help definitely, but you know, I need to rely on the autofocus of the lens. Yeah, I'm using 5D Mark II. I never had a problem with the 5D Mark II with any kind of focusing issues or anything. It was always focusing great. So with my other lenses, so you know, I can compare it with these as well. And the problem is when I'm coming home, the pictures are just not focused exactly where they should be. It's just a very little movement elsewhere, but you can see it, and that's the problem. I'm not buying the lens for £1,300 or whatever just to take pictures on 2.8 or f4. No thanks. I want to be able to take pictures at 1.2, because that's why I paid so much money for the lens. Yeah, I don't really understand the people when they trying to make some kind of like a review, and they are like, okay, so this is Canon 85mm at f2, and this is Canon 85mm f4 and something, and then here's like a 9 pictures in his review and only one picture is taken at 1.2. I'm like, what? I don't care how this lens is performing at f4, excuse me. I'm not paying that much money for f4. I can buy Canon 85mm 1.8 in that case for £200. I don't need to be spending over £1,000 for the lens, so I'm interested in the pictures at 1.2. That makes sense. Yeah, the problem is you're coming home from the photo shoot and the pictures are just somehow focused a bit elsewhere. I'm not sure if I said that or not, because I don't remember. I'm trying to create this video for like third or fourth time now, because I had some issues going on with the sound as well, whatever. And this lens doesn't have a problem with the front focus or the back focus. It doesn't. I've tested out and it was great. There's no such an issue at all. But when you are in the field, as I said before, is just not focusing right. It's somehow lazy or something. So the camera tells you it's focused, it will take a picture, but when you see the picture, it's just focused a bit elsewhere. It's just like, and you're looking at the picture like, why the heck this is happening? It's just not focused where it should be focused. What the heck is going on here? So I've done some sample shots for you. What I've done is I've taken pictures in my garden, and I've put something on a tripod, and I've used camera on the tripod at f1.2 and with the autofocus, and I focused on the object, I refocused elsewhere, and I focused on the object back again, refocused somewhere else, then focused on the object again. I've done it maybe like 10 times or 15 times, whatever, and you will see the focus accuracy on those pictures. Yeah. Now I want to speak about some other issues as well I had with this lens during the time I had it. I still have it, but I mean I'm gonna sell it. So here around the mount there is some plastic part and like a barrel something, whatever, and this part contains, it has some rubber coating on it. Yeah, I understand that it's for better grip, so if you hold it like this it's for better grip, and if you hold it like this it's just for you to like be able to, so you won't just, it's not like slippery. Yeah, but the problem with that rubber coating is that after some certain time it can just peel off, and then the problem is you have a lens for 1,300 pounds and you have some peeling rubber coating on it. It looks like rubbish. Yeah, that's what happened to me. So I just have decided to take the rubber coating off. Yeah, so there are like 6 screws here. You take those 6 screws off. I've literally just used some kind of like a little chemical solution or something, and I just took it off and put it back, and it looks lovely, as you can see. Yeah, it just doesn't have that coating on it. I've also seen on the internet you can buy a replacement part. It took me quite a while to find out like what exactly replacement part it is and how you can like buy it and where, because here in UK I was really badly struggling. So I found out that replacement part is £60 with the shipping, and as I said, you just get the replacement part, take the 6 screws off, put the new part, put the screws back, and it can be done in like 2 minutes. Yeah, so it's simple. It's just £60 for no reason. And if some people, they have no idea, they can buy replacement parts, so they have a lens for £1,300 or even more, whatever, and they have a peeling rubber coating on it, so they can be pretty unhappy with that, which I understand. So that was another problem. And the last problem I had with the lens, and that was also very annoying and very frustrating, it was the manual focus. This lens only focusing manually on the Canon EOS camera when the contacts are connected with the camera. So when you put this on a camera and you put it as a manual focus, the lens, when you just turn the focus ring, you see that it's focusing, yeah, and the elements are moving inside. But when you take the lens off the camera and you put it, for example, on a Panasonic GH4, which is the one I'm using now for recording this video, that's just not focusing. Of course, you put some kind of reduction, yeah, it's just not focusing. The manual focus is dead, it's not working. You're just turning this ring and nothing is happening. So that's very frustrating. So if there is any way how this can be done, just leave it please in the comments, but I didn't have a chance to find out. I'm using right now aperture speed booster with this joystick. So this joystick is for focusing, and also there is an aperture wheel, so I can set up the aperture and the focusing, which is fair enough. That in that case I can actually use this lens for that camera, but this is not what I want to have in my hand when I'm holding this with that camera. I just want to have that camera with this, and I just want to be able to focus manually, because I don't own any speed booster with contacts straight away from the lens to the camera with the autofocus function. So because this speed booster is not connected with the camera and the lens is just connected to some special mechanism which is taking signal from here and is doing its job, like focusing and setting the aperture. So if you don't have a Canon camera, you won't be able to manual focus with this lens on any different camera with any reduction. Yeah, that's why I actually now understand why people are likely to buy FD version of this lens, which is around £600, sometimes 650, because the ring is working, because it's an older lens. Yeah, so I fully understand that now. So if they want to use it for some video work, or they want to use it for some other things on a different camera, that makes sense. Yeah, that was another problem I had, and these three problems were quite like, you know, I wasn't happy. It's like, you pay quite a lot of money for the lens. I paid quite a lot of money for this lens as well. I never had a single issue with that lens. The pictures taken with that lens are super trooper amazing. Also, pictures with this lens are nice, but it has a focusing issue. It has a grip issue, like a rubber coating issue. Then it has like a manual focusing issue when you put it on another camera. It's like so many things, and you're like, why? You know, whatever. So now I'm going to show you the sample images of the focus accuracy of this lens. As I said, I focused elsewhere, and then I focused on object, elsewhere on the object, elsewhere on the object. So let's have a look at it. Thank you guys for watching this little review about this lens. I'm gonna sell it right now, I just don't want it anymore. As I said, I'm using this Sigma 85mm 1.4, even if it's 1.4 and this is 1.2, I still like that one. I will show you the same kind of video with that lens, like how it's focusing, how is the accuracy of the focusing, but next time. And I would like to make some other reviews as well with some other lenses and with some sample images, because I like sample images. And I believe that you also appreciate sample images because you can see it with your eyes exactly what the lens is doing and how the pictures look like. It's much better than when someone is just talking and doesn't even own the lens, doesn't even own the camera, is just trying to speak about something, you know. So you get the information from the real person and from the experienced guy. So stay tuned and see you next time.